Hey everyone, Brian McMahon here with Vitalix Fitness. Welcome to another Monday Motivation. Hopefully, throughout the last month, you were able to implement the changes necessary to begin to see some success in regards to your goals. Now that we have a solid foundation, we want to see what we can do to further your lifestyle changes to ensure long-term success. If you have been feeling a little bit less motivated coming into this week, just know that you're not alone. In fact, statistics show this is the week almost 90% of people abandon their pursuits towards change. But why? What is it about this week that causes people to want to throw in the towel and call it quits? You see, up until now, you've been riding off the new emotions that creating positive change instills. Even though there have been some bumps in the road, you've been able to adapt to those obstacles and to continue to focus your efforts. The reason people begin to lose focus this week is simply because the effort required to achieve their goal is starting to surpass their desire to achieve that goal. Sometimes, even when we have a long-term plan, it can be difficult to find the motivation to execute your plan for that day. When this happens, I want you to examine your emotions. Are you really ready to quit, or are you just uncomfortable with the amount of resistance you're currently facing? Most people just get tired of challenging themselves to be better, and now they begin to crave the way things used to be. It may not have been perfect, but it was much easier than this, right? This even occurs when we have experienced dramatic change in the last month. Often, we just become tired of constantly facing resistance. Once these emotions begin to rise, we feel as though failure is inevitable and just a matter of time. But this week, before you call it quits, I want you to come up with your definition of failure. Have you ever heard the saying, the road to success is paved in failure? It sounds simple enough, and at first glance, we might feel as though we're able to fully understand what that statement means. In fact, I remember the first time I heard it, I thought, well, duh, of course it is. It's just common sense. I related it to inventors such as Thomas Edison or the Wright brothers, people who I could clearly see had built off the failures of others to create something that was entirely different. These people were able to change the way our world operated by learning from someone else's mistakes. It wasn't until I looked at it from a personal perspective that I could see the deeper meaning. I believe that in our lives, we've developed a fear of failing. The reason I feel this is true is because I've seen it happen in my own life. I can remember when I was a kid, I had the tendency to act now and think later. I'm sure you can understand that isn't something that always worked out for me. My point is, there was a time that I wouldn't have considered the outcome of any of my actions. I would just sort of do it. It wasn't until I began to learn that there were consequences for my actions that I began to understand what that negative outcome might be. Now, I'm not advocating acting without thinking towards any situation in life, as that is a critical element of being an adult. But I do believe sometimes we can take things too far in the opposite direction. When it comes to making a big decision in life, we have the tendency to overthink things and make them bigger than they really are. We tell ourselves that we are trying to make the best possible choice in life, and that may indeed be true. However, we walk a fine line between failing and giving up. This is caused by giving failure too much power. If you find that a fear of failure has caused you to not take steps forward towards the change you desire, you've begun to see failure as a destination rather than a milestone. I believe that failure is nothing more than the truthful result of an action. If we strip aside all the negative emotions that we typically associate with failing, we can see that at its core, we are simply getting angry that our efforts didn't work the way we had originally intended. This doesn't mean we can't try again or attempt a different method. It simply means what we tried was unsuccessful. If we choose to stop there, then we become an active participant in the acceptance of failure, and our journey stops. We're more likely to meet success if we develop a mindset that encourages us to fail often and fail forward. By that I mean, fail and then choose to succeed rather than choosing to give up. If we're failing often, that means that we're still making attempts towards our goal. Perhaps redefining what failure means in our lives is all we need to do to give us the courage to get up and make another attempt. The only time we truly allow ourselves to fail is when we refuse to make another attempt at reaching our goal. My challenge for you this week is to fail. In fact, I want you to fail often, but fail forward and look at it from the perspective of meeting resistance and choosing to continue towards success. Use the truth that failure provides to create a different plan to reach your destination, rather than standing in the same place wondering why your efforts didn't work. If we use it correctly, failure can become one of the strongest motivating factors in life. We can't be afraid of the truth that failure provides us. Use that truth as what fuels you to make your next attempt, but always remember that the only time you have truly failed is when you allow yourself to accept that failure is the destination of your efforts. Now, up until this point, we've been using this series to focus on the steps necessary to create change in your life. We wanted to do this because some of the most common questions people ask us deal with the foundational components that we covered in the past weeks. Our goal for this series was to provide you with a solid foundation so that you would know what to do when you are seeking to create change in your life. But as with any foundation, it is meant for one purpose: to provide stability to the overall structure. From this point, we want to go beyond the foundation and give you the tips you can use to create the healthy lifestyle you desire. We're going to be doing this by answering some of the questions that you, our audience, has been asking, as well as discussing some hot topics and trends in the fitness industry. Think of things like fad diets, targeted fat loss, meal timing, and a variety of other topics. So, what do you think? You ready to go beyond the foundation with us? I hope you have a really, really great week, everyone, and we'll see you next week.